Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about important things to avoid when buying a home that needs renovation. It's freezing today in Moncton, so let's get inside. Whew, it's a little warmer inside here. So today we're going to talk about these 5 important things to consider when purchasing a home that needs renovation. Starting with getting a home inspection before buying. The next thing we're going to talk about is evaluating reno costs before buying. The third one is keeping versus flipping. Then we'll talk about key improvements to increase your home's value. And finally, we're going to talk about financing options for purchase plus improvements. So first up, we're going to talk about home inspections before buying. So home inspections are very sensitive topic, I guess. A lot of people don't believe in home inspections, depending on the home inspector that you're going to hire. Getting a home inspector in any home that you're going to be purchasing, whether it's newer or older, is always a good idea to do so. I always tell my clients, if you're buying a newer home, it might not be as important since there are a lot of the newer components that are in the building code, so that will be more on the safe side of things. But for an older home or a home that you plan on renovating, it's very important to bring a home inspector to review everything. Like, could be anything, from electrical to plumbing to your roof or anything like that. It'll really get a good cost perspective on things too for your renos. One of the most important factors into hiring a home inspector, it's to ensure that you don't miss out on anything that will cost you a lot more money in the long run, whether it's during your renovations or later on. So it's very important to have someone to have a kind of second opinion or a second look to make sure you didn't miss anything during your first viewing or even your final walkthrough before closing. So the next thing we're going to talk about is evaluating your reno costs before buying. So I always tell my clients that it's very important to, in your first showing, start looking at what your costs are going to be, what needs to be replaced, what needs to be repaired. But it's also very important to bring in your professionals early on so that they can further evaluate the going costs of replacing exterior siding, replacing the windows, bathroom renos, kitchen, all that good stuff, and even the technical side of it, like plumbing, electrical, light fixtures, stuff like that, just to get a good cost perspective from the professional. So those professionals will be able to get like a second evaluation on the house, a more in-depth evaluation on what you need to replace or what needs to be repaired, so that you can further evaluate costs on your reno. The third one is keeping versus flipping. So before starting your renovations, always consider your timeline. So make sure that if you're going to be here for the long term, if this is going to be your family home, or if you're maybe considering just renovating it, staying in it for maybe a year or two and then selling. There's a big difference between the two. So you need to consider what you're putting into the home and how much money you're putting into the home. If you're planning on flipping the home, it doesn't mean you can't do improvements. You can still put some money in where you will get a good return on investment. You just have to be strategic on where you're going to put the money and what finishes you're going to choose. And you might have to make decisions on finishes that are more cost effective and make decisions on a more neutral finish that better suits the general buyer's market. So if you're planning on keeping the home and staying here for a long time with your family, you can justify more potential costs to make it your own, such as quartz countertops or putting a more expensive flooring down or spending more money in the bathroom finishes, compared to if you're not going to keep the home for long. You want to be more cost effective, so you want to reconsider the type of flooring you're putting in and how much money you're putting into the kitchen or into the bathroom. Those things are very important to consider whether you're keeping or flipping. Next thing we're going to talk about is key improvements to increasing your home's value. So we're here today with Nick, which is the one of the owners and carpenter and all-around handyman, I'd say. We're going to talk about a few things here. Nick, do you want to have a look at the bathroom and tell us a bit more about the waterproof membrane and what's going on in there?
Yeah, so when we generally do a shower or a bathroom renovation, we tend to go with the Curdy board membrane, and it's just a really, no callback product that just waterproofs everything very well, and that's what we're bringing into this home.
So what are the benefits of going to the next level and putting this waterproof membrane in this whole setup for the homeowner?
The biggest thing for the new homeowners is going to be the longevity of the product. You're guaranteed a watertight seal for years to come, and that's what we want to offer to our future clients.
So there's a few things that you can do to really increase the saleability and the overall look of your home without spending a ton of money. So for example, Nick here, they put a new fireplace in. Nick, tell us a bit more about the finished product and what it's going to look like.
Yeah, so here we decided to go with the bump into the space, and this is obviously going to be a different color than the rest of the room. So it's going to bring a lot of warmth, and it also, if you look around on the street, you see they all got that one big window. Here it just gives you that a little bit more private with the two separate windows on either side of the living space, and it gives you a good return on your investment here. It doesn't cost that much extra to just go that little bit here, and it just made sense. So
cool. So are you putting tile, are you putting shiplap, or what are you doing here?
So this is actually just going to be a textured finish on this bump in, and it will be a different color. So it's just a textured kind of stucco look. Nice. And this is going to be the fireplace insert here that's going to heat this space great. And then you've got your insert. You can put your router in there, plug it in behind the TV. It's all nice and clean. So
my favorite and probably the best return on investment in a home is a kitchen. So Nick and the boys, they ripped out the old kitchen. There's nothing left in here. They're starting from scratch. So Nick, tell us your vision on the kitchen.
So as you can tell here, it's already a small space. And we wanted to maximize this space as much as we could, so we decided to go no uppers next to the kitchen sink. So you're going to be lots of counter space all throughout here. We left the uppers on the back wall once again so that this space just reads as big as we can. Fridge is going here. You're going to have ample storage in your pantry right next to it.
Okay, and what's going on over here behind you?
Just over here, once again, right, extra counter space, and this is going to be a bit more of an accent. You're going to have some drawers coming down with a nice countertop, a couple of floating shelves here, kind of be more of a coffee bar, maybe a wine station. Is everybody needs a junk drawer. This is probably going to be where it's happening. So
awesome.
Just once again trying to focus on having as much storage space in a small confined space. So that's our goal here.
The last thing we're going to talk about is financing options for purchase plus improvement. So there are a few options when renovating a home. Depending on the bank, you might have different financing options, such as purchasing the home with a line of credit for improvements. Another option is to get a mortgage for purchasing the home, but also to cover your reno costs in that, so you can get an appraisal on the improvement part, and they will basically finance the renovation on one mortgage. That's why it's important to include your professionals early on into the process, so you can get the right quotes and you can get the right renovation costs, so that you can get those financing options, because the banks will require quotes and from a certified professional as well. So those are very important parts into including your professionals into your renovation. So you can speak to your mortgage rep or your mortgage broker. They'll be able to show you what the options are and guide you through the process, tell you how much you're approved for, and that will dictate what you can do on your renovations or purchase plus improvement process. All right, guys, if you're considering buying a house that needs renovations, make sure you follow the 5 steps that we talked about today. All 5 steps are crucial in the success of buying a home and renovating it. So make sure you don't skip any steps that we talked about today. So if you enjoyed our content today, make sure to subscribe to our channel And if you have any questions, please comment below and we'll see you next time.